So, hello and welcome back to Ep.4 of the Big Lab podcast. Today, I'm joined with Alex, the co-founder of the Every Move Academy. Would you like to give yourself a little introduction, Alex?
Yeah, hello. As George says, my name's Alex. I run an online coaching academy with my girlfriend Sarah, and yeah, been a coach for the last 3.5 years, 4 years, coming up to that kind of range.
Too bad, not too bad. How long has the Every Move Academy been going for?
Since April last year, so I suppose coming up towards a year now.
It's flown by that, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's mad because it was pretty much it was the start of that first lockdown. Which is also bad to think that is coming up to a year.
That is ridiculous, isn't it? Like, I've been working from home since March, like last year. And that sort of anniversary, so to speak, is coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, that's tragic.
But yeah, so a little bit about me and Alex. We've known each other, it must be coming up to about 2 years now?
Yeah, it must be 2 years because I suppose the year before that,
we worked at the Gymshark event, didn't we? And we it was a weird one, that wasn't it? Because we'd followed each other a couple of months before it and were speaking, and then all of a sudden we were both working at that.
It was just fluke though, wasn't it? We were just like interacting with each other through DMs, and then it was like, I can't even remember. Like, I think, did I put a story up or something? And then you were like, "Are you going to that?"
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like, "I'm working at that event," and you were like, "I'm working at that event," and I was like, "What?" And then I ended up getting shoved in a stock room for 3 days or whatever it was, 2-3 days.
That was a mad weekend though.
Yeah, it was good. But you got the better job of being up there on the stage with all the athletes and everything, and I was stuck in a stock room.
Being the athlete's bitch.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's better than sitting in a dusty stock room in somewhere else in Manchester. So we're going to start off with the quick fire questions as usual. Alex doesn't know any of these questions, so they're all going to be very authentic answers. Don't worry, there's nothing too scary on there, hopefully. So the first one will go nice and easily. So what is your favorite flavor of protein?
Lemon meringue.
Is that one of the bulk powders ones? I think I've had a sample of one of them from like an expo or something, and they are quite good actually. Like really,
I'm like, one of my favorite puddings though is lemon meringue pie.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
Yeah, lemon meringue, it just ticks all the boxes. Close second is salted caramel.
Not big on salted caramel. I don't know what it is. I just can't take to them.
What's your favorite?
I'm quite big on all of the clear ways that My Protein have recently been doing, and the one that I've currently got actually,
like the ones that are like water.
Yeah, it's like cordial basically. So it's like, like a Robinson's cordial. It's like one of them. Like this is one of them now. So that's dragon fruit flavor, I think it is. It's quite good. They're coming out with some mad flavors, and I've tried. I'm not gonna lie, I think every single one of them so far. But yeah, so the second one might be a tough one for you. So if you couldn't support Man United, who would you support?
Aberdeen.
Why Aberdeen? That's such a random.
So basically, the reason I support United is because like I've got like a bit.
Don't tell me you're a glory hunter.
No, so my dad was born in Sale.
Right.
So like my dad's side of the family has kind of spent a lot of time Manchester way.
Right.
So my dad used to go to obviously like Old Trafford when he was younger, and then that's how it kind of started. And I didn't really have an option. Like the first piece of kit I ever wore as a kid first piece of clothing I wore as a kid was like a United jumpsuit.
Forced upon.
So it was destined. But my dad also is like got a lot of Scottish in him, and then my mum's like fully Scottish. My mum was born in Aberdeen, and my dad went to university in Aberdeen. That's how my mum and dad met. So kind of like my second-ish, not really. Like I wouldn't even know what their score was last weekend. But like, if I probably wasn't supporting United, I think I'd probably, I don't know, because I suppose I'd probably support an English team. But that was just the first thing that popped into my head.
What about an English team then? Which English team would it be?
like Brighton or something.
Brighton. Fighting relegation.
Swansea. Oh no, they're not. Well, they're Premier League, I suppose. Just so. I've always kind of jokingly said that I'd quite like to support someone that's just rubbish, because then if you win, it's mint. Whereas if you lose, it's just another.
Same old.
Yeah,
that's a fair point. So the next one. Now we've both got these. Which do you prefer overall, the Apple Watch or the Whoop strap?
I'm actually going to say the Apple Watch.
Yeah. Why?
Because I think for what I kind of, it's so difficult. There's so big pros and cons to both. Like the Whoop is great for like sleep performance, recovery, knowing when to push it and things like that. But I love Apple Watch for the fact it's a smartwatch.
Yeah.
Like just stupid stuff like using a stopwatch, telling the time. Step counts is massive, like knowing that.
Yeah, I can't believe we don't have that one, to be fair.
It's a weird one, and I typed into Google like when I thought like, oh, it must be somewhere that I haven't found it on the app. And they said something like they don't want people to focus on steps, they just want it to be included in like their day strain and overall movement, which I can understand, but then also it's good to know. So yeah, I'm gonna probably say an Apple Watch.
I'd probably join you on that. I've had mine for about, I think it's a week now. I'm gonna be doing a video on YouTube soon comparing the two. I think I saw your one the other week actually.
Yeah.
And that was just before I bought mine actually, and I was like, I'm gonna try it out.
They are like, I was surprised, in fairness, about the comparison of them on like a workout and sleep, because I always kind of thought it was going to be crazy, but my sleep was similar, but the workout and stuff is crazy different.
Yeah, well, like that first time I worked out with mine, I was messaging you. I was like, "What is going on?" Like, to be fair, it has balanced out a little bit more now. Like, it gets to know you for like a week or so, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But there's still quite a difference between my Apple Watch and the Whoop strap.
And it's almost like Apple Watch is like over.
Oh yeah, it's so far over.
It's just massively under. You just need something that's in between.
Well, when I look at my calorie burn during the day, I think my Apple Watch says it's something stupid like 3,500, and I've been sat at my desk all day, and then I've done a workout in the evening, and I'm like, that's not right. But then my Whoop seems to be a little bit closer. It seems to be sort of between 2,500, 3,000.
Yeah.
We could go into this like as a whole new topic, but like, yeah, I think the Apple Watch tips at just basically one because it's got a screen as well.
Yeah, I think they're just.
It's a bit sort of, that's it, isn't it? You look like you've got a tag, like a police tag.
And I think if I'm honest as well with choosing the two, it's like I've got to wear two bands to serve a different purpose. And I'm like, if I only was able to wear one, I would always choose the Apple, because there's too many things on the Whoop that doesn't offer what the Apple does. Whereas at the end of the day, you can get an app for sleep, you can get it's got a workout app, it's got everything that the Whoop kind of can do, but just not as much data feedback. But
I'm umming and ahhing about cancelling my Whoop.
So I am.
Just because
I'm just going to go back to Apple.
The only thing is, well, like you said, wearing two bands, but then I think the sleep analysis is good, but at the end of the day, if I wake up and I'm tired, then I know I've not slept enough. If I feel tired, then I don't need something. I don't need an app to tell me, do I?
No, and it messes with your head. Like there's times where I found I've woke up and I feel good, and then my recovery is like 38%, and I'm like, oh well, I feel good. My body feels pretty like primed, but Whoop's telling me that my recovery is not very good. And then you're like, and then it just starts playing on you mentally. And I'm a bit like, should you be ruled by a score?
Exactly.
You should always obviously go off how you feel. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And I'm, like I say, I'm umming and ahhing about getting my money back because I'm still within the 30 days.
Oh yeah, nice.
Right, we'll move on from that question anyway before we make a podcast about comparing the Apple and So what is your favorite fitness Instagram account?
Ooh.
So if there was one that you could follow, other than mine, obviously, who would it be?
Probably Ollie Marchon.
You've lost me on that one.
Have I?
Yeah.
So just a phenomenal coach, like really, really just like top of the range, like very into like functional performance kind of thing. He's got a gym like down south, I think, in like just outside of London. But he's like ex pro rugby player, and he just seriously knows what he's talking about.
I think I recognise the name. I just don't follow.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll probably see him. But a close, I'm in an arm and then with Marcus Philly. You heard of that one?
Again, he's to be fair, I don't think I follow either.
he's ex CrossFitter though, so he's kind of he was. I can't even remember when he was in CrossFit Games, but he basically came out of it and was one of these people who kind of for his body was like, I need to stop going to the games, and then kind of put a spin. Put a spin on doing like functional bodybuilding. So you might have seen that like going around like his profile functional bodybuilding. And he started this new kind of way of training of combining the two. But like from what I've learned off his Instagram through like functional movements, like Olympic lifting, yeah, pretty mad. Like, do you follow Julian Smith?
No.
The bodybuilder guy. Oh, because I was going to say,
there's a lot of people. I probably.
I was going to say he's Marcus Philly. Julian Smith is a genius for bodybuilding, and I was going to say Marcus Philly is like the other side of that, but then for functional side.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna have to check those out by the sounds of it.
Ollie Marchon's a good one.
Yeah, no, I've definitely heard his name. I've definitely heard the name. I just don't obviously follow. What is your favorite non-fitness Instagram account?
Oh shit. There's nothing that comes into my head apart from like Man United, but I can't say that.
That's essentially a fitness account if you think about it in a way.
No, that is true. Oh my god, I don't even know like what non-fitness account I follow.
Stumped you on this one.
Literally, I can't think of anything, but
you can't even check either because you're on your phone on the Zoom call.
Yeah. Probably some like one of those travel ones where you're just looking at sick destinations. I don't know, but probably one like that. I actually can't.
I have to unfollow some of them, you know.
Yeah, because it gets.
I just like it's not gonna look like that when I go. For starters, because like it'll look good, don't get me wrong, but some of the like the cinematography and the angles that people get with drones and stuff, it's ridiculous. And at the same time, it makes me feel sad because obviously we're in lockdown, and the last thing I want to do is be seeing photos abroad when I've basically sit in this room for a third of my life for the last year.
That is tragic.
Yeah, it's hard when you think about it, isn't it?
Yeah, when you put it out like that, you're like, oh god, we need normal life again.
I've never even thought about it like that until I basically spent 8 hours in this room or more since March last year.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's move on to the next one because I'm feeling a little bit depressed. I think I already know the answer to this one. If you could choose one for the rest of your life, CrossFit or weightlifting / bodybuilding?
Yeah, CrossFit.
Yeah, I knew that was that was a given one.
Yeah,
that was probably easier than your favorite flavor of protein.
Yeah, it was. Like that's it. I've come through bodybuilding. It's where I started, but to me, there's just I just love everything around CrossFit and the way of functional training.
Yeah, no, I'd probably like, even though I don't do as much now, I don't even know why I don't do as much now. I've just got into a sort of bodybuilding split recently.
Yeah,
I used to do quite a lot of circuits when I was in the gym, and there's probably no reason why I don't do them at home, but I'd probably agree on the sort of CrossFit circuit side of things over sort of weightlifting and bodybuilding long term. We will move on to the first topic of the podcast, which is all about your sort of transition from being overweight to sort of the physique you're at now, which is a lot more lean, to say the least. So what I wanted to start with was, what was the point you sort of realized that you wanted to change, and what age were you?
So it was first year of uni. I was sat there once in the library and I sneezed and my belt buckle snapped. And I went,
no, it didn't.
I promise. And that's why when you were saying that question, I just started laughing to myself, because it's obviously it's the trigger that's just always in my head of just like that moment that I just went, and everyone was just pissing themselves, like laughing at me, like all my uni mates, and I was just like laughing but also crying inside, like, you need to start shifting some weight, pal.
So first year of uni, so 18?
Yeah,
18, 19?
I failed a year at school, so I was 19.
19.
So yeah, pretty much.
So that was 6 years ago, is it? 5 years ago?
No, 7.
7 years ago?
Bloody hell. Yeah.
We are old. This is becoming a depressing podcast a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So at the age of 19, why did you want to change? Was it just basically because of that moment, or was it other things? Did you actually want to get into like?
Yeah, there was like I was always a skinny kid at school. Like I was always just naturally I'm just a lot smaller of a guy.
Yeah.
Then when I went to uni, like I'd always just eaten. I hadn't really cared what I ate. And then when I went to uni, that just carried on. But I was then just completely off my own bat. Yeah. And my way of not putting on body fat just suddenly got ahead of me. Too many beers, too many cheesy chips. Like I just then put weight on, but I just was fat, but I was still skinny underneath. So I think that turning point was like, you need to lose some body fat. And I just wanted to look better. I wanted to impress more people, and not just be known as like, well, at that point in time, the beer monster. And the cheesy chips monster. That's why I said it. That's what my mate used to call me.
Any other monsters?
No.
So how heavy were you then at that point?
Oh, I don't know. I've been heavier though. That's the thing. Well, right. I think I'm definitely been heavier. I haven't got a clue off the top of my head. I think like I want to only say I've got like 13 stone in my head.
Right.
I don't know. I don't think I even weighed myself at that point.
Makes me feel heavy. Anyway. Next one for that, Alex. You're sat there saying, I want to change at 13 stone. I'm sat here.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
So at that point, were you involved in any sport, or were you going to the gym, or did you have any previous sort of gym experience in general? Or was it complete newbie?
I started going to gym like a year before that, just kind of pissing about, nothing serious, just kind of doing a set on each machine, running around the gym thinking, what's that guy done? I'll go do that. What's that guy doing? I'll go do that. There's actually an embarrassing story once. So I saw a guy benching who was actually in the year below me at school, and I saw him doing it and I was like, yeah, that looks good. I might try that. So wandered over to the bench, loaded on the weight that he had on, which I think in hindsight was still 40 kg, which obviously it wasn't too much. And I went to press it and the bar just didn't move. So I had to kind of like wiggle it onto the racks, and then I just ran back to the treadmill. And then that was that. So
scarred for life.
That didn't help my confidence in the free weights. And then when I went to uni, I was still like kind of messing about. I was playing football like once a week. Like there was no training or anything. It was a very like campus based football, so it was just kind of your own team, you rock up and play. So yeah, I wasn't doing much around it. And it was like the gym session was, oh, I'm going out tonight, let's go get a quick pump. It wasn't a it wasn't anything special. Yeah, it wasn't a proper like actual periodized program. It was like, right, let's go do some lateral raises quick.
Some bicep curls.
Yeah.
So when was it that you sort of got into a decent routine, and how, basically?
Probably third year.
So you're talking 21, 22. Is it?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking years then. I was like, wait, we're in 20. I was really confused then. Yeah. So yeah, probably around like 21. And that was like, my mate, Matthew Chandler Fitness.
Yeah.
Me and him have been like, well, best mates since first year. We've both kind of gone through that fat phase and then kind of shedded it all off. But yeah, third year, I think we definitely helped each other. Chan already had quite a decent, like he'd been going to the gym for a while, so he definitely showed me the ropes. But we were doing less going out every single night, which was helping us to train not feeling hungover. And just feel a bit more like driven to train. And we were just starting to eat better. Like we were getting things off like muscle, like just hampers between us off muscle food that was like supplying us. We were being pretty decent with what we were eating. But yeah, that was the first time that I started to actually put in a bit of routine into it.
So was it more of a case of you just sort of learning as you went along, or did you get a PT or anything like that?
Yeah, just learning as we went along. Obviously, both of us at uni, we didn't exactly have too much money to be throwing around. And as I said, Chan had like a decent foundation of knowledge, and he was actually, I think in third year, he was actually even going through he was qualifying, he was doing like his PT exams, and I think pretty sure he was doing his level. He'd already done his level 2, so he's doing his level 3. So like he did know a lot more. So as I said, he was definitely helping me to show me the ropes.
And was it that sort of initial enjoyment of starting to go to the gym and seeing results that led you on to being a PT?
Yeah, like as soon as I started to see results and start building muscle, because what happened is I went down the route after trying to lose fat of just like cardio, and then I was just skin and bones. So I then just had to build. And once I started seeing those results of building and starting to build muscle, yeah, it was just endless. Like it was just so motivating that I just wanted to keep doing more and then start learning more. So then it would be like, right, okay, I want to start reading stuff. I want to start listening to things. I want to really understand how my body works and trying different things and just basically just diving head first into it all.
Yeah, I had a similar thing with me. Like I've never had a PT or coach or anything like that, but from like a young age I got quite into it quite quickly and did a lot of my own sort of research. There's so much out there on the internet, isn't there? It's so easy to find stuff.
People ask questions sometimes and I'm like, mate, just Google it.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. Like you probably see it on James Smith.
Yeah, he
answers like the same questions every single day, and it's like it was literally on his story yesterday. Like, come on, like you didn't even have to Google that. But yeah, there's so much out there now. But I think I remember we had a conversation a while back. You didn't actually start out to be a PT, did you?
No, so I was.
Didn't you go down the accountant route like me?
Yeah, yeah.
What was it that sort of changed your mind to go to a PT?
Well, like a few things really. So one being, I can remember this trigger. I can literally picture it happening. I was applying for jobs with like Big 4 firms, and I kind of had that plan. I'd always wanted to live somewhere else. Like I'd always, because being born in Guernsey as well, like I always just wanted to live, not even like Manchester. I wanted to live like just wherever I liked, where it was sunny. And I just remember messaging my mate Chan again, saying like, right, okay, I'm doing this so that then I can qualify and then I can go here. And he was like, oh yeah, that like sounds great. Like going to be living the dream. And then I was like, no, my dream would be to work in the fitness industry. And that again just like triggered me a little bit to be like, And then me and my girlfriend went traveling for 5 months post uni. Wasn't planned. It was more Sarah put the idea in, well, both our heads. I think she said it as a random comment.
You were forced into traveling.
No, it's just she just said it like, I'd love to go traveling, and it just, I was like,
it's a perfect time, isn't it? Straight after uni.
Yeah, I was like, let's do it. And then so for me, that then put that decision of like, I then just stopped applying to companies. So I was like, I don't need to worry about that for a time being.
Yeah.
And my mum and dad were like, because the only reason I was applying for stuff, because my mum and dad was like, you need to have a job for when you come out of uni and blah blah blah.
I had that when I was in college because I didn't want to go to uni.
And then it's like traveling gave me just time to block everything out, have a real think of what I wanted from my life. I bought like a notepad when we were out there and literally just wrote down everything. Like any long journey we had, I was just scribbling in my book. Like I still can go and get that book and laugh to myself, and like it's stuff like accountancy pros and cons, coaching pros and cons, and just mapping basically.
And loads of them over the years.
But like just mapping everything out, and then was like, I'm gonna do it. Like I wanted to, as I said, I wanted to work in the fitness industry because of how much passion I just had around the whole side of it. And I was like, I wanted to work in there. And I was like, and I was like, I saw having an impact on, like a positive impact on people's lives as a coach. I was like, I'm going to be able to do that to so many people, more so than I would if I went down a different route. So that was another mindset to be like, I just wanted to have positivity on people. And then came back from traveling and it was like, Mum, Dad, this is happening.
So it was like straight after you came back from traveling, you went straight into your, I assume, your PT exams.
Yeah, just and then literally head bang, done.
Sorted.
Yeah.
And that's going to link nicely into our next topic, which is how social media has helped you transition from the gym floor to an online business. So first of all, I want to say, was it always the plan to go from the gym floor to an online business, or was it something that sort of grew on you as your social media increased over the years?
So it was actually the original plan.
Right. So before, when you had maybe a couple of thousand followers or something.
Yeah. And like I was trying to build my social media when I was traveling. Yeah. And I think I'd built it to a couple thousand. The worst thing I ever did, and if I knew what I knew now, obviously I would have changed the way I did it. But I built a following based on people who wanted to see traveling content.
Yeah.
And when I then got home and started pumping out gym content, all of these followers
go back on holiday.
Just basically disappeared. And it was just like, I was just in this really like bad middle position. Yeah. I'm digressing though. What was that?
It was. Was it always the plan? And like, basically.
So, my original thing was I wanted to go online because I saw that an opportunity to help more people. Yeah. And I think because as well, from people that I've followed, like the likes of Rob Lipsett, the likes of Tread Bundy, like people like that, I'd seen what they were doing, and I was like, okay, I can get that, I can have that. So, but I hadn't watched as much someone who was on the gym floor doing it. So I think that was changing my head as well for like an inspiration. And in fairness, it was Mum and Dad was like, you're not gonna get any clients online. And I was like, watch me, well. So yeah,
that's almost the best thing though, isn't it? Someone saying that you can't do something because it just feels it to make you want to do it more.
Yeah, exactly. And then just was like, right, well, go down the PT route. Got a job like while I was qualifying, so it was lined up literally for day day that I qualified, I think it was then like the following couple of days, I was then in a gym. And then it just kind of went from there. So the goal was always to get to a position to be able to do it. One thing I will say is that if COVID had never happened, I don't know if I'd be here right now online, because the hours and like time that I needed to dedicate towards helping that online business grow, like the social media was there, like the community I'd built was there, but I had to then transfer that to the online business. Like my PT was doing great, it was like booming, but I needed to then somehow bridge this gap because I was spending too much time PTing that I didn't have any time to go online. And COVID threw the gym out the park, and then it just gave me the time and opportunity to do so.
Did you go almost online pre-COVID though, on your own, before the Every Move Academy started?
No, so that was, well, so I was doing online then, but it was, I was never in a position to be able to do it full time. Like I had like a handful of clients, and the Every Move was something that Sarah and I had kind of been working on for a while. And Sarah then like qualified, she's like amazing with food. So even when Sarah,
food posts they do look so good.
I'm the little taster.
Yeah, exactly. You're the lucky one.
But before she was even qualified, and like even well before she was even like thinking about it, I was like wanted her to be on the food side and providing everything like that, because it was something that I wasn't good at. Then snowballed Sarah wanting to do it, and similar kind of thing to me. Like she just, this love of fitness just evolved to then wanting it to make her job. And then it was like, well, this is great. Well, now we can just literally just go together and fully just build then the Every Move Academy.
Brilliant. It has done really well as well. So it's like you say,
it's going all right.
But do you think if you didn't get as big as following as you did, that you would have sort of done it when you did? Even if, say, COVID had happened at the same time, say if you had less followers, would you have committed as much as you have? Or was it the fact that you had that following there, that it was a sort of a point where you went, right, let's do it?
Bit of both. I think I would have still done it to see what happened. Like the amount of followers wouldn't have stopped me. But obviously it was definitely good for a foundation point of view. And I think for me personally, like where I'd kind of gone with PT, it's different. Like I always kind of think like with online, it is a different beast, because PT, your clients are there on the gym floor. Like just go sell to them, go provide them value, and then they'll buy into your business. Like it doesn't have to be complicated. Whereas online, all of a sudden you're competing against everybody else in the world, and you're trying to build communities and value through like messages. And so for me, that like transition to online, I would have always tried it, but obviously having that foundation, I was just giving people value, like value, and I'd never really sold to my Instagram. So that was something for me. Like I know it sounds bad to say, but I'd never like asked for it. I'd never been like, who actually wants help? And then it was like, oh, okay, well, this is great. It certainly helps, but it wouldn't have stopped me. Put it that way.
You hit a wave, didn't you, at one point, sort of around the time we were at the Gymshark event? Like your following just increased like a ridiculous amount in such a short space of time. And I remember you saying like you'd been posting content for years, and then it all of a sudden just clicked. And
so it's like, well, as I said, I was starting to post stuff when I was traveling. So that was when I was 20. Well, I had 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I probably built about 500 followers in 2 years. I don't know, but I was just still doing it. Doing it because I knew in my head, like, just don't stop.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until it was definitely when I started doing like more workout side of things, instead of just doing posts, and try to give people value there. But when I started doing more like workouts, it was then like, okay, I was starting to see like a bit more of a pattern in engagement. And then it was Sarah who was like, she was like, your niche is mobility. You need to get that out there.
Yeah, you smashed mobility. Like, really good posts on mobility. I've got a lot of them saved as well.
It was all just about, because my first gym where I was, the demographic was older people.
Yeah.
So everybody was coming to me saying, I've got knee problems, I've got hip problems, I've got back problems, I've got shoulder problems. So for me, I took that as a, right, well, it wasn't even a like thinking down the line. I was just thinking in the now. I was like, well, I need to make sure that I know about this, and I need to research, I need to try things, and I need to understand the body, so that when Jane comes to me with like bad knees and a bad hip, I can actually go, okay, it's all right, because we'll do these exercises. It's one's going to strengthen that, but two, we're actually going to be able to play with it, instead of like something I like don't like see people doing is training around an injury. It's like, well, just fix it and then work on it and work on strengthening it. You don't have to just ignore it, pretend it's not there, and then work all around it, and all you end up doing is making things worse. So Sarah was like, focus on mobility, like that is your niche. And once I started posting content about that, that is when it just kind of hit this mad
I think I started following you around 5K or something like that. And within like a couple of months, like by the time we were at the Gym Shark event, it was like stupid. It was like 20 odd K, and I was like, what is going on?
So I remember hitting 10, and then between 10 and 20, it was 4 weeks. That's and then ridiculous. Between 20 and 30, it was 2, and between 30 and 40, it was 2, and then between 40 and 50, it was about 5 months or something like that.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Like, I think sometimes, well, obviously you've got to put the good content out there for starters. Like, that's your foundation. I think the second bit is actually being able to get lucky sometimes with the algorithm. Like, obviously,
I was just riding the algorithm wave. Like, I was literally just on top of it, and it was just, and that's why, as I said, like between 40 and 50, it was like 5 months, 6 months. Like, it was literally as if someone was pouring a tap, and they literally just went, because even
had too
like
much.
but like my post engagement back then was a million times higher than it is now. But it was just like, it was going crazy, and then it was just like boom, and I noticed it just straight away. It was just like, wow, what's happened? And but again, I then just went straight back to how I was before, where all of a sudden, and even it started coming down, and I was just back in my mind before, where I hadn't got anywhere in 2 years, and I was like, just stay consistent. Like, this has happened, this can happen. It will probably happen again.
Like last summer, sort of the start of lockdown, leading into the start of summer, I was on sort of a wave as well, with the home workout stuff. Like, I was posting one every single day, and like some of them blew up ridiculous. I was like, what the hell's going on here? Like, I'd wake up and like you'd see like the like number like that you'd had overnight, and I was like, what is going on? And then I stupidly decided to get rid of like 500 fake accounts, and literally the moment I got rid of those accounts, my engagement just dropped off like completely.
That's so weird.
I was gutted. I was like, I should have just left it because it was flying. I was like, I've never seen this in my life. I've been posting at that point for over 2 years, and I'd gone from, I think it was about 2,500-3,000 followers at the start of lockdown, and I'd hit like 5,000 something, and it's pretty much the same now. And it's like 6 to 8 months down the line. Obviously, I got rid of 500 people, but I was a bit of a fool for deleting them. And I think Instagram basically punishes you because they try and think that you're trying to improve your metrics or something like that. And because I obviously did it in one big go.
Yeah, I say to people as well, there is a game aspect to it.
Yeah,
and at that point in time, like when I was riding that wave, I was winning the game.
Yeah.
Right, because as you said, it's all based on those algorithms and things like that. And what's I think really funny is that for me personally, as my followers have grown, especially like more and more recently, like as my followers have grown, I care less and less and less about actually how much it's growing. And I'm just so much more focused on like, how can I help those people? Are they going to come into my business, and then can I coach them? That's literally, it's weird. That's like and I think that was for me, as I said before, when I was just providing value. I was just trying to build. Whereas now it's like post value still, but try and sell more to it.
Yeah, no, that's probably the best plan. Like obviously, when you've got an online business, like at the moment, I'm just trying to provide value as much as I can. Like I hate just posting like a photo with a stupid caption. Like, every now and again, like I'll do it to say, I don't know, if I've been out for a day out or something, I'll post that. But if it's just like a random old photo and I've put some crap caption, or I always want to try and provide value. I was going to post one the other day, and then I thought, like I put it on my story. I said I was going to post a photo, like an old one, with a stupid like inspirational caption that would have provided value to probably no one, and I just didn't bother. I think
that's another thing. Like for me, I've stopped doing is like kind of the same thing. Is I used to post just so that I've posted that day, because I was always like, have to post every day, and I was like, there was at one point I think I was on like a 2.5-year streak. Whereas now, if I've got nothing to post, I'm like, oh, I won't post.
I've got like
often I don't post at the weekends because I'm like,
I've started doing that a lot more recently. I put a lot of pressure on myself to post all the time, and I had a look the other day. I'd hit 750 posts in pretty much 3 years, so that's like on average 250 posts a year for 3 years. Like even the first year, I don't even think I was posting quite regularly, so it's more in the last year or two, basically, all those posts have came in, and the amount of pressure I put on myself to try and like get content ready, editing, I just don't need it. Like if it's not ready at the time, then it's not going up. And I've realized that more recently as well, with even just starting this podcast. So the last 3, I've basically finished the podcast, downloaded the footage, and then I've sat there waiting for it to upload to YouTube to make sure it's up for the next day. And I've just said to myself, I'm not doing that anymore. Like it can wait a week. Like I'm giving myself a week to get it uploaded, and it's going live a week after, because I'm not getting to sleep until like 1 a.m. It's just not needed.
It's even like I've even started like reposting old content.
I need to get in the habit of doing
more
that.
and more. But it's like I was starting to do it, and I was like, oh, should I do it? And then I saw I've like James Smith. I've seen him talk about it before.
Yeah, I've seen him talk about it recently, actually.
Yeah, and he said like, and again, there was a thing recently where he said about, he was like, only 2% or whatever you're following see that post.
I think it's 10%, and then if they don't like it within a certain time, or they scroll past it, then it'll automatically sort of demote the post. But if they all like it and comment on it, then it'll get pushed to a further amount of like.
But as he said, it's like you've had so many people that haven't seen that post, and he said even if the same person sees the same post again, they might have had a little trigger, then they're going to have another trigger, and then they go, actually, I need to speak to him, I need to drop a message. And interestingly, if you go through like your posts that have got the most engagement, because obviously you're not going to post one that's not a good one, when you repost it, you still get really high engagement on, and you're then just providing more value, but you're not actually having to put those pressures on yourself to like, sometimes as well, I'm sure you'll have been the same, like where you feel you've made an old video again, and you filmed it and edited just as a new one, but you're like, why didn't I just use that old one to just give people the same value again?
Yeah, because obviously, like when I'm on like a training split, once I've filmed it once, it's essentially going to be the same workout that I do like in a week or two. And the only difference is going to be maybe the weight might change a little bit and my workout outfit's going to change. Like, that's about it. It's still going to be the same workout. So I have thought more recently about sort of maybe even just filming one exercise of the workout and maybe talking about it more in depth to provide some value.
Yeah.
But I definitely need to get in the habit of posting old content, because if you think about it, say if you posted it like a year, maybe 2 years ago,
no one's going to know.
The amount of followers that you may have gained in that time that haven't actually seen that post. And I think, like, going back to James Smith, he said some of his posts, he could post them like 3, 4, 5 times and it'll only go viral on the 5th time he's posted it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, even I find myself watching some of them, I'm like, I've definitely watched this before.
Yeah.
Or have I? And I'm like, I get confused. I'm like, have I watched this? I don't know.
But you still watch it again.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like, even when you watch it and you know, like, that's old James Smith, that's him from a few years ago, you still go and watch the video again.
Oh yeah, because it's all value adding. So, and there's nothing wrong with seeing something again and learning again, because quite often you're going to forget something that you've seen a year ago or 2 years ago. It might click in your head a bit that, oh, I've seen this, but it's still going to provide value at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've completely gone away from this topic, but like I say, I think we're value. We've provided value anyway. So hopefully the listeners at home will start reposting old content, because it might help you out. I'm going to give you an opportunity to plug your Every Move Academy. And
I didn't know what you were going to say.
Yeah, plug bulk powders, discount, affiliate link. No, I thought I'd give you an opportunity to speak more in depth, because like we've talked quite a lot about the Every Move Academy, but just to say what you offer, and you don't have to go into prices or anything like that, but just what as a business you're all about.
Yeah, so as I've obviously touched on, like, CrossFit, functional movement, mobility, that like stems the kind of what the reason why it's called what it's called, like the Every Move Academy. We wanted the word movement kind of in there, just because of how much we preach and focus on people's movement quality, and making sure that through mobility methods, through certain like ways of moving, that we are just perfecting someone's performance. And then what we like to say is it's with your every move. Again, it's like a little bit of a tagline on what the business and what we're trying to do with the academy. At the end of the day, it's an education platform. Like, we're not going to give people just throw, and then people kind of, if someone say comes out of the academy, they're not going to come out of the academy and be like, what the hell has just happened, and not have a clue how to adopt things themselves. Like, in my eyes, I don't want suddenly people all just like leaving, but if people did, I would want the confidence to know, and I'd be happy that they could then do things themselves and still make progress. And yeah, so it's an online academy where like we've got set, like Sarah basically coaches the females, I then coach the males, and we just bring everyone together in our academy. And we've been going, now I suppose close up to a year. And yeah, it's really cool building that community, like that really tight knit community online. And just really excited for where we take this and how many people we can impact, and then just even more people that we build into our community. And that's what it's all about. I think for us, it's like, it's an education platform, but it's about just bringing people together, like people who are having similar struggles, having different struggles, who are having same goals, who have different goals, but all people who are trying to just better themselves. And it doesn't matter if they're trying to lose body fat, or they're maybe trying to get stronger, or they're trying to get fitter. Like, they're still trying to do something to make themselves better. And that's what we want to, that's what we ultimately just want to bring everyone together for.
I think that one of the best things that you said there was about people leaving with basically new knowledge and that they've learned. I think the thing with online businesses that a lot of coaches seem to get a bit upset about is when clients leave. But I think sometimes that can be a good thing if they've sort of came to you, they've learned, and then they feel that they can do it on their own. That then frees you up to then teach another person. And I think a lot of coaches out there sort of get hung up on the fact that, oh, I've got clients leaving me. But if they're leaving you for a good reason, then that should be the ultimate goal, because then you can go and help another person.
I think as well, the people that say that, it's like, well, you obviously don't have enough clients to then be comfortable about people leaving. But like, and I think as well, it's a credit to then the way that your business is run and the academy is run, that someone can come to me and say, like, Alex, I don't feel like I need your coaching service anymore. I'm confident with what I'm doing, and thank you for everything, but I'm going to go my own way. Like, I would never be like, whoa, what the hell do you think you're doing? It would be pure, just like joy and happiness for them. And it's that thing of, again, like, as you said, how some coaches don't see that way, and referrals and people talking about like the academy and the results that they've made is the most powerful form of marketing you can ever have. So you want to give that person everything so that then they shout about it to their friends. Whereas if I just drip feed and give them rubbish that they don't learn from, what are they going to tell their friends? Their friends will be like, oh yeah, how are you getting on? Be like, well, I've lost some body fat, but I haven't got a clue how I did it. Or like, I'm training, but I don't really understand why my training plan is structured in the way that it is, and how and what and when. Like, it's something, one of our principles is like our why factor. So if our clients ever ask us, why is this in my program, we can justify it with a few words, not like, well, it's good for your back lever, like just absolute nonsense that means nothing. Like, it's no, it's here because it will make you better. It's because it's going to do this, it's going to do that. Like, it's staying just true to that principle of just not being like, not a load of nonsense bullshit, to be honest.
And there's a lot of that out there these days.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're aware. But I think that wraps up the podcast. We've got one final thing, which is your interesting fact.
Oh, what's that?
Do you not see my message?
No.
You were meant to come with an interesting fact to finish up the podcast.
Do you know where dogs' sweat glands are?
In the nose.
I've forgotten. I can't remember. It's either their toes. I can't remember now.
I thought it was the nose because that's where they have a wet nose. I'll Google it. I'll Google it. Try come up with another one in case it's wrong.
I swear it's their feet. It's a weird one.
Where are dogs' sweat glands? It seems like they've got a few, but yeah, in the paw pads.
There you go. Boom.
Mainly through the glands in their paws.
There you go.
But did you know that shaving a dog to keep him cool can be harmful and lead to heat stroke?
There you go. Don't shave your dog.
Yeah. Right.
Sorry, I didn't see that.
It's fine. Right, so that will wrap episode 4 of the podcast up. If you've made it this far, thank you very much for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you drop a like somewhere down there or down here. And if you're new, subscribe. And I will see you in the next podcast.